What is up, guys? This is DarkLite Reactions coming back at you with another one today, guys. So we are back with some more Dax, and we are checking out his remake of Oliver Anthony's Richmond North of Richmond. I did a reaction to Oliver Anthony's video when it first came out, and you guys absolutely loved that. A lot of you, informed me a little bit about who he was. The love I got on that was awesome, and it was a real song. Since then, I've been following his story. I've done a few news reports on him, like my own little, I like to call them DarkLite hot takes. And you Dax fans have been loving my Dax reactions lately, so I wanted to check out how he added or remixed this song. As always, guys, this is a reaction. I will pause, I will rewind, I will talk. If that's not for you, I completely understand. Also, we're testing a new lighting feature out. Normally, I have a lamp going, but sometimes it ruins the lighting behind me. Sometimes there's a camera flare. So let me know what you guys think of this lighting. I like it a little bit better. I think with a few more of these bright little flashy lights around, it'll be cool. Alright, guys, smash that like button, subscribe, check the original video link down below, as well as go follow Dax and subscribe to him if you haven't already. And we're going to go full screen. I'm going to check this out. Alright, I am aware that I am taking up a big part of the camera area. I'm doing that on purpose, and if you don't like it, like I said, you can go watch the original link down below. Alright, let's see how Dax does on this one. United we stand, divided we fall. Very true.
It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. The Richmond North of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
This world has changed and I had to accept it. They ask my political views while I search for their hidden agendas. I don't got an answer, I try to remember the devil divides. Pressure appears from our peers. Those arguments waste our time while helping to push their lies, so fuck political views. I got common sense. I know God made man, and the sun sets on a life where we focus on things that we cannot control and accumulate so much regret. By the time we decide to live, we're practically already dead, so I go.
Okay, we're coming like that. Wow. That is such a true bar. By the time you decide to live, you're pretty much already dead. Whew, that's a real one. I also like how, he was talking about, he didn't answer. He tried to remember that, what he said. Wow. Okay, so he's coming with realism. I know Dax always does, but he's absolutely coming with realism. I also like how he has the original track playing with Oliver Anthony on it. I find that very clever, and I also consider that him also shouting the artist out, which is really cool too. All right, guys, we're gonna keep it going. This is sick. I'm gonna back it up a few.
Where we focus on things that we cannot control and accumulate so much regret. By the time we decide to live, we're practically already dead, so I go to sleep with the thoughts of 45 years living in debt. 45 years can't pay rent. 45 years just for a pension. I'm too old to enjoy and go spend 45 years working and slaving for rich men with no time for my family and friends. Then I wake up and pray that it ends.
Living in the new world with an whole soul. Richmond North of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Descendants of Adam and Eve, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're taking God out the schools. Our kids don't know what to believe. From 6 to 18, the curriculum fails, and Gen Z gets taught by their phones with forced feeds that get sponsored and paid by companies. That's how they attack us. It starts with the youth. If you lie enough, you'll convince anybody the lie's the truth. So telling these kids they can choose their own gender at ages they can't even tell.
Oh my God. Yep, he said it. Did you hear him? Yeah, One more time. One more time. Just back it up.
Companies, that's how they attack us. It starts with the youth. If you lie enough, you'll convince anybody the lie's the truth. So telling these kids they can choose their own gender at ages they can't even tie their own shoes. Drive or drink is crazy. Common.
That is so true. Um, you know, as somebody who has nephews, I'm not a parent myself, but as someone who has nephews who go to school, I don't like the idea of that stuff being talked about in school. I think that I'm sorry. I agree with what Dak said there. If you don't like that, like I said, it's called freedom of speech. We're entitled to our own opinions. I was raised, to not judge anybody by anything other than their character. So let me be clear. I don't care, who you are, who you love. None of that matters to me. If you treat me good, I'll treat you good. I do think that that group needs to have rights. I do think that they deserve to live without being judged, but I also don't think that it's up to the schools or them to decide when parents talk to their kids, if ever, about stuff like that. I think school needs to be focused on one thing: school, making friends, teaching these kids how to tie their shoes, how to do math, how to read, how to write, teach them about everything that they're going to need at growing up. But they're kids. I don't like that. I don't like that I have to worry about that for my nephews. It's like they shouldn't be learning about that stuff. They're too, in my opinion, they're too young. If they decide that they want to make those choices and learn about that stuff when they're older, that's perfectly okay. But and I'm sorry, I agree with it. Uh, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But remember to keep it respectful. Don't come on here being all hateful, because I'll just block your comment. I'm not threatening you either. I'm just saying we can discuss things and have different views, but if we can't do it respectful like adults, damn, I cannot believe he said that. But because he said it, I'm sorry. I had to speak on it. It's the truth. I I I think there's a time and place for those discussions, and I think those discussions need to be had. I think people need to be educated on that stuff, but I don't think it needs to be taught to our kids. I'm sorry. There's a correct time and place for stuff like that, and it shouldn't be taught by the teachers. I'm sorry. I think they need to be focusing on making friends and growing up first before learning about stuff like that. That's damn. All right, we're gonna back it up one more time, guys. And yeah,
Lie enough, you'll convince anybody the lie's the truth. So telling these kids they can choose their own gender at ages they can't even tie their own shoes. Drive or drink is crazy. Common sense isn't common unless it pays me. That's the thought process daily. Look at the content. We're creating lies, diluting our brains. I'm done trying to argue online with these people who think that a vote's gonna bring about change. How many presidents does it take to have a life worth living? An actual comfortable wage. No more school shootings. Let's unite these states.
It's a damn shame
that
what
was
the
very
world's
clever.
gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an old soul. These Richmond North of Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control.
Alright, guys, that was Dax's take on his remix on Oliver Anthony's Richmond North of Richmond, and I think he absolutely killed it. Not only did he kill it, but he also added substance to it. He added to the song, which I absolutely love. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a like, guys. I'll link this down in the description below. Make sure you go, even though you've watched my reaction, if you haven't seen the actual video, make sure you go, support it. Dax works very hard to write these songs and do these music videos. And although I love you guys watch my reactions, like I said, make sure you go and support him as the artist. And yeah, and like I said, no hate, guys, here. And I'm sorry. I'm gonna be honest. Like I said, I was raised that you don't judge a person by the color of their skin. I was raised you don't judge a person by who they love, how they dress, what they like. It's character. But I still do think that there are certain things that don't need to be talked about in schools. And I agree that one party said, about the school shootings. Like, dude, that's so real. That's a fear, that parents have nowadays that we didn't have 30, 40 years ago. I mean, granted, there was different fears and there was different stuff to worry about back then, but what I'm saying is it's not something that should be seen as common, because it's not. It shouldn't be seen as something that happens. Parents shouldn't be worried about their kids going to school and coming home. They should have to worry about their kid getting most parents should have to worry about is their kid calling because they're sick. They shouldn't have to worry about getting that phone call. That's a terrible thing. It's a terrible state that we live in today. We treat each other, horribly. We're not united. We're against each other. We judge people on the color of their skin. Still, we judge people on their gender, on their race, on the clothes that they wear, on what games they like. And it's petty crap. I'm sorry. I think if we all united and we all worried about ourselves, didn't care so much about what other people are doing, here's my honest take, okay, before I end this video. As long as you are not doing anything to directly harm another living creature and or person, okay, let me clarify. And that means animals, whatever. I don't give a crap what you do. If you want to get married to another man and you're a man, you do what you want. I think that you should have that right to do that. I think you should be able to do that. Just like I think normal marriages should be okay. If you want to have kids, okay, you do you. Live your life to the fullest. Live it. Love who you love. Be you. Okay? Let me just be clear. And I'm not just saying that to please everybody. That's how I generally was raised, As long as you are a decent human being and you are not doing anything to directly harm another person, then I don't think that we as people should have the right to be able to judge other human beings. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in. And it's sad. This was a real song, and I think Dax did a very good job of adding his own substance to it. Very well done remix. I'm definitely looking forward to checking out more by Dax. I don't know what he's got in store. That last one he dropped with Tom MacDonald and everybody was a banger. Adam Calhoun, Tom MacDonald, and him killed it. Like I said, I don't talk too much on this stuff, and some of you guys have commented you wish I would more, but I have to be careful. Unfortunately, just as Dax was saying, it's the world we live in today. You can't speak your mind. You can't speak the truth. You have to be careful. I have to censor myself. Because if I don't, then there's going to be that one person out there that's going to get mad and go bent out of shape and try to, cancel me. And I'm not even making any money doing this yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad that we can't have different opinions and have discussions like adults nowadays, And it is sad. A lot of our kids are raised, a lot of these parents nowadays just throw their kids in front of electronics, and say, here you go, and expect that thing to babysit their kids. Granted, I know there's hardworking parents out there, and it's hard to get a babysitter, the world we live in with inflation today, but it's still no excuse. I'm a YouTuber, okay, but I still go outside every once in a while. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up going outside and playing. I grew up in the 90s. We didn't have Wi-Fi back then. We had dial-up. I grew up in the era where we had in our house we had the rewind, the tape, you put the thing in, and the VCR thing where you'd record it. I forget what it's called. I'm having a brain fart at the moment, but we had that, and my dad would always record Three Stooges and all these movies that would come out, and I remember that, and I remember the dial-up phone, and I remember if I was on the computer, my mom couldn't make a phone call. Like, I grew up in that era, so I love technology, but I grew up, you went outside, you got, dirty, you played baseball, you did whatever, you ran around with the neighbor kids, and when you knew what time you had to be at home. How? By the street lights. If the street lights came on, you had about 15 minutes to get home before you got spanked for being out too late. That's the era I grew up at. I don't know, man. I agree with this. I'm ranting a little bit, but this song kind of hit me in the feels a little bit. So let me know what you guys think down below. As always, like I said, spread love, not hate. And my opinions are my opinions. I don't mean to offend or upset anybody. Like I said, So comment down below what you guys think. And yeah, love y'all. Peace out. All right, there we go. That's a little